Yes. Peace, peace. Barghani, Islam, Salam, Hetepu, Rahubat, Gino Lako Ninani, Chief Noble Bandele in the building. All right. Today, we're going to get into the holidays, the holy days, if you will. We're going to break down the metaphysics of Xmas or the Moorish metaphysics of Christmas. Okay. So I got a lot of information. Hopefully, you guys will stick around and listen to most of it. I know sometimes how it is, but before we get into anything, y'all, please smash that like button. Please share this video and please subscribe to the channel to help build. Okay. And you guys, please donate. I'm going to put the donation up there. Please donate and continue to help us grow. All right. So before we get into this, y'all, let me hit you with a quick ad and I'll be right back.
Oh, if they just let me see, or it just on me, it's showing me the light. Once they set us free, knowledge is the key, guiding me alright, and that feel right.
All right, all right. So we are back and we're going to get into this. All right. So you guys check that the ad. We got all our books on indigenousmoors.org. All right. Indigenousmoors.org, your one-stop shop to your needs. All right. Let me put it on here like this. All right. So y'all can go check that out. The book that I've got on here today that will be my book discusses these things dealing with time because a lot of what we're going to be discussing is really a lot about time and how things have been like screwed up and things have been like shielded and taken away, right? So when we look at that, really, these are things that wake us up in the mind. And we're going to get into like really the significance of the Christmas time. Okay. But I do a lot of that information. I have a lot of information in the book, Wake Up, Africa. Okay. Great book. So this is the book I reference you to, okay, to check out. So you can check this out on Amazon or you can get it on indigenousmoors.org. All right. So I'm not going to keep y'all bored. I know y'all ready to get into some science or whatever. Right. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you guys some videos in relations to it. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these videos. I want you to check this out because, like I said, we're going to be talking about what you call Christmas, what you guys call Christmas. We're going to be talking about just the psychological effects of what Christmas is, the symbolism, coming from a Eurocentric perspective. And then we're going to dig deeper into this, right? So I want to play this first. We're gonna have a few videos. All right, we'll have a few videos. So let's get into this. Check. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. I want to go look at this. I wanted to start it out like that. All right, we're gonna start it out with first just clearing your intentions, the understanding that you have of this time of year. We really gotta look at it from all angles. Okay, so the sister is kind of interesting because she's got the lynching tree, 3/5 clause. I like the way she compared it to so because to me this is like the law, the more science. This is the legal side. So you got the 3/5 clause allows slavery in the United States. We got the lynching tree. Okay, the ornaments represent the people being lynched. Okay, this is under the tree the body parts of the lynched black people that was shared with the children. Okay, that's interesting, right? You got the seasoning plantations, which is the buck breaking. So now you're talking about You know, looking at the reindeer, you know, the deer or the buck does symbolize a form of buck breaking. Santa's sleigh, okay, black people being dragged by it. The factory, now, I mean, to me, that Santa's little factory is like the breeding farms, his little helpers, right? She said the clan, you know. Um, so I'm putting it out there. I just want to we gonna start this off with a bang, right? We started it off with just from the experience of so-called black. You see symbolism in the holiday that is really anti-melanin. Okay, so I wanted to show that one. Shout out to that. Now, what next one I'm gonna show you? We gonna get into this. Y'all take time to digest that. We gonna get into this.
Let's
Check
talk
this
about
out.
how Santa is just
Now he is, you know, it seems like one of his LGBT brothers, but what he's saying, I want you to check this out. We're gonna watch this video and then we're gonna check it out. Okay, so check it out.
Saturn. Santa's sleigh is Saturn's chariot. Christmas is actually just how the Roman Empire convinced the last remaining pagans to convert to Christianity by rebranding their winter solstice festival called Saturnalia, which happens right at the beginning of Capricorn season, which is ruled by Saturn. The traditional ritual sacrifice to the gods that was associated with Saturnalia was replaced with a more modest sacrifice or ritual offering of cookies and milk, where individuals summon Saturn into their home in order to reap the harvest of their good behavior. Saturn is the planet that rewards good behavior and punishes bad behavior. He's making a list, he's checking it twice, and he knows who the fuck is naughty and nice. Saturn rules carbon, and so you literally either get coal if you are bad, or diamonds if you've been good. And all of these shadow aspects of Saturn, Saturnalia, the winter solstice, Christmas, Santa, etc., are all brought out when we look at Krampus, who's literally known as the Christmas devil. Just like Saturn, who ate his own children, Krampus comes and finds naughty children, kidnaps them, and eats them alive. If there's anything that's going to keep those badass kids in line, it's the fear of a demon coming to eat them. And this is even further reflected when you look at the Devil Tarot card in the Rider-Waite deck, which is the card that's associated with Capricorn. So it might be time to start behaving like Santa's real.
All right. Okay, so let's look at that. All right, let's look at that. Let me get out of here just real quick. Let's get into that. So we got Saturn. Now I want to look at something real quick about Saturn. Let me see if I can take this off. Take this off. So let me stop the screen. All right, let's go back in here. All right, so I want to show you guys something because we're talking about Saturn real quick. Let's get into this real quick. Then we're gonna get back to our other video. All right, so make sure we got it right. All right, so he said that Christmas comes from Saturn. Now you guys have heard of Saturnalia, right? So a lot of times the Romans practiced Saturnalia before there was a Christmas, right? And they celebrated it pretty much around that time of year, during the solstice or somewhere in that time, usually about a week long. But let's look at that because Saturnalia comes from the god Saturn. Okay, we're going to look at that. It says Saturn was a god of ancient Roman religion, a character in Roman mythology. He was described as a god of time, generation, dissolution, abundance, wealth, agricultural, periodic renewal, and liberation. Saturn's mythical reign was depicted as a golden age of abundance and peace. So there was a time when Saturn was ruling, and it wasn't the sun like what we see in the sky. It was Saturn. Saturn was the big dog. That says after the Roman conquest of Greece, he was conflated with the Greek titan Cronus. Okay. So it says Saturn was especially celebrated during the festival of Saturnalia, Okay, so we're talking about East December, perhaps the most famous of Roman festivals, a time of feasting, role reversal. Okay, they talk about that, free speech, gift giving, and revelry. It says that the temple of Saturn in the Roman form housed the state treasury and archives of the Roman Republic and the early Roman Empire. So at some point in Rome, Rome was ruled by Saturn. The planet Saturn and the day of the week, Saturday, are both named after an associated, which goes back to, looking at the Hebrews practicing their Sabbath on the day of Saturn, which we're going to look at that too, right? Because the Hebrews have a tie to Saturn, the Romans have a tie to Saturn. Saturn was a major being. So really what I'm saying, before there was a Christ, a Jesus, y'all, there was a Saturnalia. There was Saturn. All right. Now, this is not to, cause confusion with Christians or anything of that nature, but the truth of the matter is the day of the 25th of December is really not a Christian day. So it's up to the pagans in the world, the people who come and don't understand things. It's time for them to reclaim that day, to not let that day be overran by Christian ideology, because it doesn't come from that. So we're looking at it now, right? We're looking at the origins of Christianity. So, so let me show you a little bit more. Let me just show you a little bit more. Why are we saying Saturn is dealing with the Hebrews and things of that nature? Why are we saying that? Well, Saturn being ruled now, and really I don't know how they knew this, but for some reason they seem to know this. What I'm going to show you right here is, this is a picture of Saturn from the top. If you're looking at it from the top of the poles, right? And there's this cloud of gas or something of that nature, right? That has this shape of a hexagon. Now, think about this. A hexagon has what? 6 sides, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it's a hexagon. It's 6. Matches up with the 6th day, be Saturday. It matches up with the what we call Solomon's seal. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get to. It goes back to Solomon's seal, right? So I want you to see that, right? So let's look at this. Look at this. So when people are saying, like, there's people out here who saying that Saturnalia is supposed to be Satan. You got Santa and Satan. These things all relate back to Satan in Christian ideology. The Christians are saying, okay, this is evil. Where are they getting that from? Right? They're getting that from, I think, a misguided understanding, but I want you to understand that. It says Saturday is named after Saturn, the 6th planet. It is the 6th day of the week and has 6-sided polygon on its north pole. Okay. It's 6-sided. It's the 6th planet. They say it's the 6th day, that's what I was trying to say. And it's got 6 sides on the hexagram. So when they say 666, now when we understand 666 as melanated people, we understand that in a whole different perspective. That's 6 protons, 6 neutrons. Like that's the molecular construction of man or carbon, right? Melanation, carbon is not necessarily an evil number, right? 666 equals 18. That's how many breaths men take as a beast. You take 18 breaths a minute, then you're breathing quite fast. You're breathing like an animal, right? So you're breathing fast. Those are animal people. People like dogs. If you look at a dog breathes fast. So these things symbolize something else. It's not evil. But Christians have labeled 666 and labeled these things evil. But there's symbolism in this. So the Star of David literally comes from this hexagram. Okay, so you see how they got it up there, right? So you see how they got this hexagram. If you take and if you place that inside of that hexagram, it would match up in points, right? Right? You got the right there. You got that there. You got it going there, right? Then you'd have that going there, there, there. So you've got two triangles that fit into a hexagram. Check. So what we're really dealing with when we go back to ancient times, we are dealing with Saturnalian energy that is being around this time of year. Okay? Check. So let's move on. All right, let me stop the screen. I'm gonna start it up again. Let me share the screen. All right, let's go back to our videos. All right, now that we got that out the way. So understanding that. All right, so now understand now what I want you to see before her.
Solstice is the longest day of the year.
Okay, before we get into this, I want to wrap it up. Now, see, I want you to understand something. We're talking about Saturn. And Saturn, the practice of Saturn was before, in a sense, they was practicing the sun. In Rome, Romans were practicing Saturn first. Now, I'm not talking about all around the world, because other places in the world were practicing it in the sun, about the sun, which we're going to see. But from the Roman perspective, they were doing Saturnalia and these things first. So for them, it was about the Saturnalian energy. But we're about to see the other aspects of what Christmas really is about. Okay, so let's look at this.
The summer solstice is the longest day of the year as far as light goes, because the tilt of the earth makes the northern hemisphere of the earth favored. Now, the sun is entering the summer season, and he's traveling toward Leo the lion. This is the season that the sun is hottest in the northern hemisphere. He has become a roaring lion with a large mane, the solar rays of the sun, the fierce lion. And then the sun makes his journey into Virgo, and that is, after he passes that house, he's at the autumn equinox. Now, he's back at 0 degrees now, and he's getting ready to fall into the southern hemisphere. This is why this season is called fall. The sun is making his descent to another solstice, to its lowest point of power. Okay, so that's the season of fall. Now, this is where the story of Christianity starts to become involved in the telling of the astro-theological story of the sun on the cross of the zodiac. And it is because at this time of the year, when the sun is in Virgo, getting ready to make his journey into the southern hemisphere, into Libra, while the sun is in Virgo, in the constellation.
Please smash the like button, y'all. If y'all enjoying this, please smash the like button. If y'all got questions, please put them in the comments.
Constellation of Virgo, when it is rising at the beginning of the day, there is a constellation beneath the house of Virgo known as Crux. This is what Crux looks like. It's known as the Southern Cross, only visible from the southern hemisphere. So at this time, the ancients would say that the sun was on top of the cross of Crux. Not right on this. The sun doesn't go into this. The sun is here. It's over top of Crux. because Virgo is on top of Crooks in the night sky. You just need to look at a celestial map. You pinpoint Virgo, and then you look lower toward the southern hemisphere, and you'll find Crooks, the Southern Cross. So at this time of the year, the ancients said that the sun was placed upon the cross of Crooks, the Southern Cross. And this marked the time that the sun was getting ready to begin to die, begin to go to his lowest point, the winter solstice. So in this season, the sun then passes through Scorpio, the scorpion, and he is stung by the venom of the scorpion. So now he's really in rapid decline. Okay, he's dying quickly because he's stung by the venom and he's dying, and then he comes to the winter solstice. Now the sun is at 23.5 degrees south latitude of Earth. He is at the Tropic of Capricorn because he's getting ready to enter the house of Capricorn. This is the Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees south latitude of Earth. This is when the sun is at his winter solstice, and the ancients knew that was as far south as the sun would descend. It's making its lowest arc across the southerly sky that it's going to make, and that's the shortest day of the year as far as light goes. It's the day that is the longest day in darkness. So this is when the sun was said to have died upon the cross of the zodiac. He's at his lowest point of power, and he has died upon the cross. So remembering that at the autumn equinox point here is when the sun was placed upon the cross of Crooks, the Southern Cross. And this point here at the winter solstice is when the sun dies on the cross of the zodiac. You see here that it passed through 1, 2, 3 zodiac houses to reach that point. This is a symbolic corollary to the story that Jesus hung upon the cross for 3 hours, 3 Horuses hours before he expires upon the cross. So in this instance, from the autumn equinox to the winter solstice, these 3 zodiac constellations are seen symbolically as hours. So at the winter solstice, the sun has reached his lowest point in the southern hemisphere. And this is, at this point, the ancients could see with the eye no visible movement of the sun back toward the northern hemisphere for approximately 3 days.
All right, just to throw this in there, you know, what he's showing us is that these holidays are really stemmed from you know, astrological. All this is astrological. Okay, so the things that we look at as religious and festive all stem from astrological. All right, so let's keep going.
So the winter solstice takes place on December 22nd. For 3 days, the sun is seen to be stationary, and its arc is staying at the same position and location in the sky as it rises and sets. It is not until 3 days later that the sun begins to make its trek northward until that is visible to the naked eye. So the ancients would see the sun rising farther northward and its arc getting somewhat larger on the 3rd day after the winter solstice. And that day, of course, is December the 25th, the birth date of the sun, because that is the day visually the sun can be seen to be born from its place of death in the southern hemisphere and to begin to rise again, or start the cycle again of rising and falling during the course of the year. So that is the date when the Son of God is said to be born, and he is born of the Virgin. And we talk about what that really means. The birth of consciousness, the birth of the neocortex from the mammalian brain. However, In this context, astro-theologically, it means that the sun is born of Virgo. So that, at one point, was where the zodiac began. It began at this point, the line between Leo and Virgo. So at that point, the sun would be born of Virgo, the Virgin, not of Aries. So if the sun, the zodiacal year would begin at this point, it would travel in a circle until it reached Leo and back to the Leo-Virgo line. So if you look at where Virgo is and you count the houses in procession, in the procession of equinoxes, okay, backwards, counterclockwise through the zodiac signs, you get 9 months, and that is the human gestation period. The sun, if he is born of Virgo and carried to term for 9 months until he is born at the winter solstice point.
All right. So, so you guys, what we're seeing is the effects of astrological occurrences. The fact that the ancestors, our ancestors, one of the things that we don't realize is that, you know, the ancestors spent a lot of time looking into the heavens. We don't look in the heavens. We look down at our phones. We always looking down, you know, but we're never looking up. So we've lost the connection with the heavens. But the heavens for the ancients was a time clock, right? It was a time clock. So, okay, so what I want to do real quick is let's look at something to go along with what they're talking about, all right? What he was talking about. I'm going to go back in here and, you know, y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get it together. So I'm going to share this. Now what I'm showing here is something that if y'all go check out my earlier video, I did some of the video about this, right? But I wanted to reiterate some of the points on here. They kind of line up with the guy was saying on the video. Because we got to understand the true essence of Christmas. Why? Why do we need to understand it? The reason why is because of what it really holds. The spiritual power that is really contained in that time of year is very important. And when we go back, you know, 4,000-5,000 years ago, those people had a different relationship with how things move on the planet. Okay, so we got to get back to that. So let's look at this. It's talking about celebrating Christmas. Okay. Let's get into this. The winter solstice, right? It says the real concept of Christmas is the sun rising out of the solstice, right? So that's what the man was saying on that video. He was saying that December 25th ends the solstice. Okay, so like those 3 or 4 days between that time, from the 21st or the 22nd of December till the 25th, is when the earth is pretty, like, not the earth, but the sun is standing still. It looks like the optical illusion of it seems like it's standing still for 3 days. And then it begins to make its transition again. And so the observation of that is symbolic to us taking time out and being still, because the sun and the solar plexus, which I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but it says that December 25th ends the solstice and the sun rises out of the tomb. Okay, just like what he said. It comes right out of the sky, of the northern sky, and on June 21st, we experienced the longest day. So we talked about that. You know, that's the shortest day of the year is coming up. So you guys, Christmas is just not about Christmas. It's about the celebration of the return of the sun. Okay. It says that the Jesus Easter story is actually the resurrection of the sun at Christmas. So they tell that story of Easter, but it's really an astrological story, okay? Right? That's what we're talking about. These things that we begin to believe are just stories that are told to explain what's going on in the heavens. And why it was important for us to know these things, because these things contain energies and things happening for a particular type of reason. And we're going to get into that, okay? So it says that the church reversed the order. The traditions were reversed by the early church. But the entire meaning of the sun energy rising up to the right, which in turn brings us new life for spring and summer. The actual apparent movement of the sun is truly the movement of the Christ. So when we're talking about, Jesus, the Christ being born, they're saying the sun in the sky. I often say to Christians that Christians are really essentially sun worshipers, okay? And they don't like to hear that. But, I'm not going to, we're not going to digress to that. But you'll pick up on what I'm saying just by what we're talking about right here, right? So we're saying that the sun in the sky is born, and it symbolizes Christ being born. Because we know Christ wasn't the so-called Christ, or what they know as Jesus. That character wasn't even born on December 25th. Okay, so it's saying from birth through crucifixion to the tomb of the solstice to the rebirth, December 25th. To encounter with the waterman, the fisherman, and the lamb sitting on the right hand, and finally ending in the sign of the lion. Leo, okay? The Sphinx. It is the riddle of the Sphinx. From Virgo, the human face in September, to the lion body in August. Okay? So this goes deep. And I if you guys are with me, all right? I'm not going to go through all this, but I'm trying to show you the correlation, to reiterate what we saw in the video. Okay? The picture of mother and child relates to the constellation Coma, which is mother and child. So who are they talking about? Coma is in Virgo, the virgin. Okay, that's what he talked about. And child born of a virgin mother. So Coma is the zoological sign Virgo, which symbol is the birth from the virgin. The sign of Cancer. Now he's talking about the donkey and the manger are found in the sign Cancer. Okay, the star Acellus is the donkey, and the star, what's this, Praesep, is the manger. The sun also rises. So it's saying that as of December 25th, 25th, December 25th, each day will become a little longer. There will be a little more sun. And it says, finally, the sun energy will touch the top. The anointing will take place, and we will pass over to spring and then the summer. You see how all these terms that we know as biblical terms have been placed as placeholders to what was really going on. All right. New life comes from the Christian resurrection. Even though winter is a dead season, but out of death comes life. Okay. The fact that, especially when you look at it like in the northern hemisphere, it's cold. There's nothing really around. There's nothing alive. All the plants have, appeared to die or go into hibernation. Everything's gone. So it seems dismal. And then it's that signal that the sun just switches back from waning, to waxing, in a sense, right? It says that the essence of Christmas, which has been missed. So these aspects of what the energies of this day really are about have been misplaced and misguided, so that we don't really understand the metaphysics of what's going on at that time. Okay. Now let's talk about this. The solar energy. The solar energy must move upward and to the right, so there'll be new life. Now I'm gonna tell you the fact that, and we're gonna get into this, but the fact is that there are certain times of the day, there are certain times of the year where energies inside you have more of an effect. That time, that energy affects your body. It's kind of like the lunar cycle. That the full moon can have an effect on the body. Well, there's certain times of the year that your body can be affected. So this solar energy, when we talk about the solar plexus, the solar energy, the solar part of man begins to activate at this time of year. So, all right. So I want you to understand that. So it says that when the dark, cold winter turns into the bright, warm spring, to us, Christmas is only one day. It comes, they sing songs, and it's gone. And we have missed the whole thing about the whole spiritual connection of this time of year. We get our gifts, we go to Christmas parties, and for I would say for a good 20 days, right? In December. From early December till let's say to the end of the year, so-called year, right? We're in that Christmas frenzy. We're shopping, we're drinking, we're partying, we're not paying attention to the stars, we're not paying attention to what the sun is really doing. Nobody really appreciates or really looks at what the solstice is really about. Okay. So it says that December 25th, the sun will be born out of the solstice and begin its journey upward and to the right, to the east. It's on its way to the Lamb of God, Aries. So, we talk about the Lamb of God. All these are dealing with zodiac. All right. All this is dealing with zodiac. Let me go back real quick. Let me see. Let's go back real quick. Let me just put up here on some things. All right, so let's get back into this. Where was I at? Where was I? Where's my stuff at? Okay, here we go. So it's saying that what happens. Okay, so I'm trying to get to my part. It says the rebirth of God's Son, born again every cycle. So it's saying that Christmas is the birth of God's Son. So we can't say it anymore. The true meaning of Christmas is dealing with Saturn and the sun. Okay, these are two aspects of it. There are another aspect of it. This time of year, it's just a lot of things are going on, right? Which makes it very special. Now it says that if the energy moves upward from the tomb of the sun, right, the solar plexus, okay? So it's moving from the solar plexus to start moving upward. If you're in tune, if you're in tune with what's going on the planet, you can move these energy upward, okay? But none of us are trained or, really have any real knowledge of doing this. So we just continue day by day doing mundane things. Okay, but the initiate, the people in power, the initiates, the people who understand the cycle still, they are going to use and harness this energy. This energy is being harvested even by the corporations. They're harvesting the energy and distractions, from doing these type of things, dealing with the spirit, the energy, the kundalini. All right, we're going to get into that. It says that when you turn yourself inward, okay, so when you meditate and watch deep within, you cause the sun energy to begin to move upward from the solar plexus, from here, from your chest. Okay? It rises up the spine. You understand? It says that the anointing with olive oil then occurs not on your forehead, but in your forehead. So the anointing of oil is symbolic, okay, of what actually is going on in your pineal. So we're gonna get into that. You know what we're doing. See, I gotta go over this stuff. Y'all didn't watch that last video. Y'all be on some other stuff, man. If I ain't talking about P. Diddy or something, y'all don't want to watch it. Y'all ain't trying to hear nothing. Y'all think this stuff is boring. You know what I mean? Like, you guys, your attention span is not long enough to keep up with what's going on, what we going into, right? Now, I understand a lot of you guys know this information, but come on, man. Like, a lot of y'all are not really tuning in, and I think sometimes it's a wake-up call, right? It's a wake-up call. That's why I'm doing this video, you know, a lot earlier this year, so that you guys have enough time to watch the video and then do your own research and start doing your own spiritual work. Okay. That says at the point, now listen to this, at the point of the hypoglossal nerve, where the spine and brain meet, okay, it touches the organ called the olivara or olivara. Okay. It says it is the olive. At that point, the electrical energy flowing through the oil, which is the what? Spinal fluid, touches the olive, and you are anointed with olive oil. Okay, Ashe. It says, just as the sun is anointed in Aries, you are anointed at the point of Olivara. You celebrate the anointing. You experience Christmas. Christmas is not a day per se. It's really it's an experience of state of mind. You know, when you activate that pineal, right, or that spark, right, that is symbolic of the star on top of the Christmas tree. So you understand that these things, like the tree is you. The Christmas tree is man. Okay, symbolizing man. The star represents man. But the star also represents the illuminated star, represents the activation of the pineal gland. All right. It says that you are anointing, you experience Christmas, the celebration of the anointing. Now listen, the pineal single eye opens. Just prior to opening the way to the right hemisphere, the solar energy will touch the pineal gland of the brain. Melatonin flows, carrying light into your body. Okay, melatonin flows into your body, and you become enlightened to the things of life and the things of God. The pineal fire ignites, and the baptism of fire becomes a reality. So all these things that they're talking about really are supposed to go on inside you, but they make it symbolic, right? So that you're looking at it as something outside of you. Okay, you're looking at the story of Bethlehem and the manger, and you're looking at it as something that happened outside of you. So even when we look at Christmas, the days that follow after Christmas are very important as well. The Epiphany, which was something that which was very important back in, I'm gonna say, when Christianity took over and converted the festive of Saturnalia into Christmas. You got the Epiphany, right? And that was a big deal back then. And I don't want to go into it, but the reason why you don't hear about it now is because of what they did with time. They changed time, which I'm not going to get into that right now, but I just want you to understand that. All right. So we talk about the Epiphany on January 6th. Traditional religion celebrates Epiphany, which is the enlightening. So on December, after going through your meditation and your rituals, and staying still, and staying in tune with the solar energy, and what was and also staying in tune with the astrological energy that is going on during this time. By January 6th, you have now come into your enlightenment period. You have opened the eye. Okay. So it's so much. The epiphany is in your head. Okay. The stimulation of the pineal gland by the sun energy rises from the lower part of the body. So when you talk about serpent energy, the kundalini rising. Okay. We're gonna watch another video a little in a minute. I'm just dropping these jewels on you, right? We going in, y'all. Y'all check it out. Tell me that we not going in. Tell me that I'm not going in, right? So, and I'm gonna leave this off right here. This is where we're gonna leave it off. It says, keep in mind that we consider the sun in the sky, and the sun energy inside you, that this is the birth of Jesus. This is the Christ. Okay, Jesus is the mythical sun born inside of you from the solar plexus. The word Jesus is a Greek word which numerical value is 888, which in Greek mythology is the mythical sun. So we're talking about numerology. It says that truly Jesus is the sun in the sky, okay, and in you. And on December 25th, Jesus, God, the sun, will rise out of the solstice. Okay? Those are the true gifts that we symbolize by doing these things, and we call it pagan, and the Christians call it evil, and none of this is evil. These things are part of the innate part of man, the observation that man has made with the astrological part of the heavens, that it correlated to the occurrences that are going on in man, inside us. And they try to demonize this, all right? Are y'all following me? Are you with me? All right? So let me go in it. All right, let me check out. I got a comment. Let's see what they're talking about. All right. Peace, Sister Lisa. Peace and love. So I'm just getting started. We just getting started in this. We got a little bit more to go into this, and I'm not gonna hold up. Let's go back in here, and I'm gonna share the screen, because we still got another video. All right. So we've watched the 3 videos. This is the last of this particular type. So, because we're going to go further into the astrology part, okay? So, let us look.
Christmas would not exist if it wasn't for astrology, and I'm going to tell you why. In this video, we're going to go over all the astrological influences on the holiday of Christmas, and there's a lot. Okay, so Christmas is on December 25th and supposedly celebrating the birth of Jesus, born of a virgin, heralded by 3 wise men, etc., etc. Traveled around with a bunch of wise men, was killed, was resurrected after 3 days. We all know the story, but Jesus is not nearly the first prophet to have almost this exact storyline. Take Dionysus, born of a virgin on December 25th, performed miracles, and was resurrected after he died. Same thing for Atlas of Greece, born of a virgin on December 25th, died on the cross, and was resurrected after 3 days. Very similar story to Horus of ancient Egypt, born of a virgin on December 25th, accompanied by a star in the east, adorned by 3 kings, 12 disciples, performed miracles, killed, resurrected after 3 days. Many other gods and prophets have a similar storyline. Jesus is actually the most recent. And this is because that general storyline is a fable adopted by different cultures to explain the winter solstice. It's completely astrological. Now, the process of the sun dying has everything to do with the winter solstice. From the summer solstice to the winter solstice, the sun gets smaller and smaller and weaker, and it is, even now, today, we consider it the process of death. It's the death of the sun. It gets lower and lower in the sky until December 22nd, the sun reaches its lowest point in the sky. And the sun stays put at the horizon, seemingly stopped in motion for 3 days, from the 22nd to the 25th. The star in the east is Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. And on 12/24, it aligns with Orion's belt, the 3 brightest stars in Orion's belt, which are called, even till today, the 3 kings. Sirius and the 3 kings all point to the area of the sunrise on December 25th, which is the birth of the sun, accompanied by a star in the east and 3 kings. Merry Christmas, y'all.
All right.
Christmas would not...
All right. So, with that being said, so really what I'm showing y'all is, the astrological aspect of these things. Let's see what the comments got to say. Yeah, Rashad Jamal always commenting on Kundalini energy. The serpent power. I don't know, years ago, we learned that during this time of year, in ancient times, I'm talking about 5, 8, 10,000 years ago, right? This time of year was really about reflection, inflection. It wasn't a time of like celebration. This was a time of to reflect on things and your goals, and just to harness in that energy. So by the time we get to like Rome, we see Rome tapping into the Saturnalia energy and begin to celebrate that time of year in a more of a lower half kind of way, right? So it's kind of interesting that all these things have been misplaced, and then Christianity just totally destroyed it. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. But what I'm gonna do is to keep it going. Let me see. There was a part I wanted to show. Let's see, what is it? Okay, let's go here. Let's see if this is it. So now I want to talk about another aspect of it, because we talked about the sun and all these type of things. So a lot of times we look at the deities or alleged deities as representing the sun. So one of the deities we've already looked at was Jesus. Jesus representing the sun. He was the representative of the sun for Christians. Okay. So everything that Jesus has done, allegedly the sun has done it. So when we look at other deities, like for example, Mithra is a god that predates Christianity. And really, this is where I believe, a lot of Christian ideology comes out of Mithra. So let's look at Mithra. Okay, Mithra is called the Sun King. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. It says, but there is another origin myth behind the birth of Christ. So it says the ancient Romans revered the sun god Mithra. Okay, the ancient Romans revered in the sun god Mithra, who also, alleged shared the virgin birth origin. So you understand, like, all of the major deities, what you call deities, okay, we're just for that sake of word, all of the so-called gods, they all come out of the sun worship. You see what I'm saying? Like, even like Osiris and things of that nature, they come out of the sun. It says that Mithra was called the son of God. The son, S-U-N of God, not the S-O-N. But you see where they got it from. Or the Sun King, which reminds me of what they call Jesus, King of the Jews. He's the king. So the Sun King, the son of God, okay? In fact, many scholars insist that the legends of Christ is nothing more but a rewrite of Mithra's story, with the sun god becoming the son of God. And the imagery of light that was associated with the sun now is associated with Christ as the light of the world. And ain't that what we call him? You call Jesus the light of the world. But what's the real light of the world? We know it's the sun in the sky. It ain't that, right? So this is a picture of Mithra. And they got that little Smurf hat on, right? Which reminds me, like, I think the Smurfs took that from that, okay? So you got, these are people who are initiated into the Mithra, into that, okay? So So let's look. Mithra, right, is related to the Semitic sun god. So this is another Semitic deity. Shamash, okay, which is a Babylonian or deity called the Sol Invictus Mithra, which we talk about. I don't know if I'm gonna get into this on Rome, but in Rome, after Saturn and Saturnalia, they started looking more at the sun, right? So what happened is they started they have a day for the Romans created a day, Sol Invictus, on December 25th. Okay, y'all check it out. Look up Sol Invictus. Look up Sol Invictus and see. Okay. So I'm just letting you guys know what it is, all right? So let's keep going into this. Let's keep going. Let me show you something else real quick. And then I'm going to go into these other videos. Now, I got 2 more videos to share with y'all. But I'm just going to break this down. This is like, so because now I'm coming from the melanated side. So when we talk about like, indigenous or even African roots, cultural, philosophical, and religious root, right? December 25th, for us as melanated people, it's a celebration of rebirth. So like, melanated people have gotten so caught up in, Eurocentric values and the consumerism, commercialization of this energy and time of day, right? So let's look at this from another perspective. It's saying that many ancient African ideologies, traditions, and beliefs have been assimilated into European and Western culture. A most notable example is this inheritance is globally celebrated festive season, culminating on Christmas Day. It says that today, the entire festive season is a time when many people, both in Africa and in the other indigenous places in the world, I'm adding, enjoy the festivities without fully understanding the meaning and the origin of the holiday. Okay, let's look at this. Karaism, which is based on the ancient spiritual beliefs that originated in what they call as Africa now, but we know that a Kabbalah, whatever you want to call it. It says that it reveals that Christmas and the festive period surrounding it has its roots deeply entrenched in African or ancient African philosophy. Okay, it teaches that December 25th, which is the original date for the summer solstice. We know this according to the Roman Julian calendar. Understand, we're not under Roman Julian calendar system anymore. We're under what? Gregorian calendar. Okay, but it says it was instituted in 46 BC, marked the birth of our primal African ancestors. Okay, and all of the sacred kings of pre-Christian times. It was believed to be the birthday of we call him Osir. They call it Osiris, the Greek version, or they say Osara. Okay, but Osir and his 2 daughters, Aset and Nephthys. Okay, Aset is Isis. It was the birthday or the solar return, of Tahuti. Okay, Tahuti or Thoth. They call him Thoth, the one or first god, later known as Ra, right? Christos. So these words are Christos, which is or known as Karas. Okay, Karas is Christian or to anoint, the Karasing, the anointing, the christening. Okay, it says that this belief is also reflected in the philosophy of Karaism, which teaches that the first god to arise from the cosmos at the time of the summer solstice was the sacred king Pharaoh, or the lion god. Okay, also known, okay, his birth was marked by the early morning appearance of 3 stars. Later, these 3 stars symbolize the 3 wise men, which we talked about that, right? Who visited the Virgin Mother, Mary, or Saba. So why was the summer solstice regarded as time of spiritual birth? Listen, the summer solstice is the day in which the sun reaches the Tropic of Capricorn. So we understand that, right? We're not going to go into all that. We know that it's the longest day of the year. And the shortest day is the 24th. It says today, thanks to modern calculations, the solstice actually occurs on 21st, 22nd of December. Okay, you know this. King Pharaoh was born on the 25th of December, was perceived as the first fruits. Thus, ancient African Christmas was celebrated as a first fruit festival. Now, that brings me into a lot of the next phase. The tradition is still observed in African communities to this day. The new moon experienced in December. Listen, the new moon, y'all. So the new moon in December announces the preparation for the first fruit festival must start. This festival is known as Kwanzaa. Okay, so we know Kwanzaa was made. It's man-made, but it actually comes from actual festival time. This time of year is a time of festival. Okay, so Kwanzaa. So a lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm not into Kwanzaa because of whatever wooty whoop about Kwanzaa Kajufu." I mean, not Kwanzaa Kajufu, but the brother who created Kwanzaa. I can't think his name. If y'all think his name, shout it out. My brain can't think of it right now. It'll come to me though. But the fact that he put it in that time of year, he's understanding the sciences, okay, of our ancestors. These things of what we're trying to do is get back to our ancestral understanding and recollection of this time of year so that we can use it the proper way. Okay, the origin of Christmas being rooted in sun worship, okay, has been documented across the globe. So this is not like, if you guys, I want you to understand something. If you are a Christian and you believe the Bible like you do, and you're a Christian, then this time of year is not for you, because this time of year is for the people who are in tune with the earth, the universe, and everything that's going on. That's in tune with nature. Okay, and Christians, they shy away from nature, okay, or shy away from fertility, as they call it. So for you guys, for Christians, this is not a Christian religion. I can't stress it enough. All right, so let us get further into this. All right, so what I want to do is show you a video. You guys ever seen? If you ever familiar with Shechem or Shechem, I want you guys to check this out. This brother, I've been studying Shechem or Shechem, known as Ra'u Nefer Amen. He's written the book, the Medun Tears. He got 5 or 6 volumes. But I studied the Medun Tear. I listened to a lot of him in the late 90s, 2000 era, which gave me a lot of clarification on what was really going on in the solstice. What is the purpose of it? So I wanted to show this video to kind of home in further on the understanding of what it means at this time of year of Christmas. Okay, the metaphysics. All right, so let's check it out.
Very profitable to study the circadian rhythms, of our biological clock.
Okay, I want to just catch you up because he was talking a little bit. What he's saying is he's talking about that we have learned that the biological clock, there's a biological clock within a human, which is called the circadian rhythm. Okay, so if we have a relationship with the planet, okay, that's where he's going with that. If we have some kind of physiological, identification with the planet, What does that mean? Okay, so let's go.
What other people have studied and discovered is that they are biological and psychological clocks that operate on a higher period. You see that? So the annual cycle, the cycle of the year, we have this understanding that, at a certain point of every year, there is a beginning of a new year. It's just not simply, that, time on the calendar has run off. It is this clock within us that is, working with our capabilities. That's telling us that this time of the year is best for us to renew, our body, our mind, our psyche. You see that our commitment to achieve things. That time of the year that's better for carrying, out our projects. And time of the year that's best for us to, compose, those projects. This time of the year, for us to get more from our meditations, to get more from our efforts, and so on. And this is what the consensus over the millennia, thousands of years in different parts of the world, people have, noticed and agreed that this time of the year, around the end of December, actually specifically the winter solstice from December 21st to the 24th, is the beginning of a 3-month period of regeneration. The way that people today in this Western hemisphere, the way that they take advantage of the renewal of their minds and psyche to achieve new things or to achieve their goals is basically by making pledges. People pledge to change. People pledge to accomplish greater things, to be more disciplined, to be kinder. People make pledges to change their diet, to improve their health, and they renew their missions and their visions for success. There's this feeling that around the time of the winter solstice and January 1st for others, there's something within us that is more receptive to the pledge and the efforts to declare a change in our lives. But we all know too well that the mere act of pledging is not enough to make changes in our life. And people blame themselves, when their pledges and their vision for success in the new year does not come true. They say, "Oh, I did not keep up with my pledge. I did not live up to my pledge." You see, and the reason for that is that it's not enough for you to pledge to change, to be more disciplined and more successful, for that to take place. Any psychologist will tell you that for you to use the powers of your mind and your psyche, you see, to change your life, it will take more than pledging in one day or in 1 week. It would take more than just pledging to change your life. And the wisdom of the ages, and psychologists that have a good understanding of human nature, will all tell you that you need a very effective, and professional, procedure, set of things that you have to do. Change certain ideas that you have to reformulate and assimilate and so forth, certain affirmations and meditations and things of that nature that you have to put in place in your mind in order to make these changes. So if you want in this 2024 year that's coming to do something that will truly enhance, for you, your efforts to improve your life, your health, your wealth, your social life, things of that nature. If you want to tap into that part of your mind and your psyche that others have discovered that is the repository of miraculous, powers and events. And believe me, there's such a thing as man making miracles by tapping into the powers of the mind. But the best time to do so is this period here, the so-called winter solstice and the New Year.
All right. You hear that? Do y'all understand that? This is why it's so important. This elder right here, he's a very important elder in the community. He's saying that if you want to make change, if you want your willpower, your will to carry out certain things, okay, that this time of year, the body and the spirit is more susceptible to it, okay? Now I'm gonna let them keep playing for a little bit longer, all right?
It's a time to tap in. That's when your psyche is most receptive to not only changing your life, but to manifest those miraculous powers, meaning, things through mental abilities and mental powers. But you will need a professional, well-crafted meditation program, because top of the list of things that you have to put in place, you see that in order to achieve your goals, no matter when you declare them, is to establish a relationship with God. Let's face it, man, we are limited in our ability to understand, to achieve things, to unite with each other. We are limited in our abilities, to our powers to actualize things. And, the teachings of the ages is that if you know how to unite and align yourself to be one with God, then God will be able to assist you in the realization of your goals. This is the foundation of spirituality and of, religion, your union with God. So we put together a course that leverages, the wisdom teachings that will enable you to unite with God, to be one with God, and that requires also for you to purify one of your 5 lower chakras called the Swadhisthana chakra, which is the dwelling place, of your psychic power. You see that? So, so if you want to make this year different from all the years where you pledge to change, we have put together a course, a 3-month course starting now. It's in place now. And if you spend at least 21 consecutive days of meditation with our system, you will see, important changes in your life. You will enhance your ability to make your pledges to improve your life a reality.
All right, y'all. What y'all think of that? All right. The fact that he's telling you that, he's breaking it down kind of clinically, not like it's necessarily just spiritually, but what he's saying is that the body has the ability to automatically do things at a certain time of the year. And we said the Kundalini energy, it begins to rise. The serpent energy, the solar energy begins to rise with the rising of the sun. So as melanated people, in order for us to, regain our place on the planet, we definitely got to get back in tune to these things. We have to look at them from another perspective. We can't look at them from a Christian perspective. The Christians, don't have the true understanding of this, right? So, so I hope you guys got a little bit of understanding of that, right? Let's go into this. You got any questions or whatever? Right. The sister say, I feel like our body will let us know what we have to do, increase happiness on the earth. Definitely. You understand? Definitely. That is the key. Most definitely. So, with that being said, the next video, this is my last video, okay? And this goes back, because we do, regard to our ancestors. So one of our great ancestors, Ishaka Musa Bear Shango, if you guys like me, when you got into understanding stuff, got woke, me back in the day, the books that he had, if you go check out Ishaka Musa Bear Shango's books, The African Origins of European Holidays, okay? Go check his books out. Go check out Ishaka Musa Bear Shango's books out, right? So what we're going to do right here is we're going to check out his aspect, because he's giving you a certain perspective on this as well. So let us check out the ancestor, Ishaka Musa Bear Shango, Ashe.
I know some of y'all really get mad with me about that one, because I got to admit, the music and all that.
Let me go back.
Now, when we get to Xmas, the Merry Mess,
Ashe.
I know some of y'all really get mad with me about that one, because I got to admit, the music and all that. That's some. It's the way they portray it is pretty, man. It's tempting. It's pretty. I like the music. And every year I used to go to see the Nutcracker Suite. In fact, I conducted the Nutcracker Suite. I still like the music. But when I studied it, went into it historically and found out what it was all about, that was based in the Satanism practices, once again, of the Druids and all that. And I don't have time to go on that tonight, but I do discuss it in the book. There were several questions that came up. And one was, first of all, it is not the birthday of Jesus. First of all, it is not. Jesus ben Joseph of the house of Panther, maybe you might want to question me on that, was a black man. And we have empirical fact. We're not saying it because we would like it to be so, because it makes us feel good to think that. It is historical fact that you can't get around. Even Billy Graham, when they put him on the point in the 60s, said, well, now, what color was Jesus? He said, swarthy. So they stopped and said, okay. Said, well, it really doesn't make any difference, though, because he was for everybody. So they went on with that. The swarthy is the German word swartz for black. That's what it was. You can't get around that. So here now they take the life of a black prophet, a liberator, because S.G.F. Brandon, in his book, Jesus and the Zealots, a white theologian at Manchester University, he begins the book with the first paragraph. The only thing known for certain about Jesus of Nazareth is that he was crucified as a rebel against the Roman Empire. And Donovan Joyce says everything else is theological conjecture. Now, that may be the only thing that Mr. Brandon knows, but while I was reading Mr. Brandon, I also read Mr. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers says, moreover, the word Christ comes from the Indian word Krishna, which means the black one. And I also, having studied history, knew that he came from the tribe of Judah, which was the navy blue black tribe of the children of Israel. And the only one who could reign as a king and be received as a true prophet was he who was kissed of the sun, because the Israelites, like the Bible says in Amos, the 9th chapter and the 7th verse, are ye not unto me as the Ethiopians and the Egyptians, O Israel? We're of the same racial stock. But we don't have time to go into detail, but in God, the Bible, and the Black Liberation Struggle, I give documentation for that. They tell me they used that book in some seminaries around this country. There was an underground movement going on, and those young ministers said, when we come out, we're going to start interjecting this to the people. And in some denominations, they have a groundswell coming up where they're telling them they got to take that Eurocentric white supremacist imagery down out of the church. So as they're pushing for that, the reason why, they told me, when I met with them, they said, Brother Shaka, You're one of the pioneers here, and we appreciate what you've done. I didn't even know that was going on. They said the reason why we seem to be moving slow, brother, is because, and I know why, because some brothers stood up and would tell the people and lost their whole congregation. So they said we're going slow and feeding them a little at a time. One brother got up preaching, because see, I'm crazy. It don't make me no difference. You know, if you come, I'm happy. If you don't come, I got to do it anyway till the day I die. Even if I print to the benches, I got to do it. One brother was preaching on the Jesus as an African and his involvement in the liberation struggle, and the next week his church was empty. Last time I saw him, he's walking up down in front of the White House with a sign. That's what they did to him, man. But here you have a black man who was crucified or assassinated for rising up and seeking his people to establish a kingdom of heaven on earth, which is a nation, not kingdom in heaven, but kingdom of heaven, fighting for liberation from the white Roman power structure. And the Romans didn't crucify him as a new prophet. They didn't crucify him as God or the Son of God or the organizer of a new religion. What does it say? He stirred up the people. The charge was inciting to riot. That's what the charge was. Everything else came later. After Europeans took him over, he became any and everything. Now, they fought over these different days once because it began as the African Christian church, and the Europeans took it, Rome took it militarily. Now, after Augustine and Origen and Tertullian and others had taught them, which they shouldn't have done in the first place, we always run over there telling them something and getting the dirty end of the stick. So now they had a problem they had to face, because everybody in the world of peoples of color, and even many of the white people in Europe, the Jews and so forth, having inherited that knowledge from the Iberians who was there, celebrated the winter solstice, the time when the earth tilts back.
The Iberians, you know, Iberia is Spain. And where did the Moors go? To Iberia. Check.
Towards the sun, and we're moving back towards summertime now. And it was on December the 25th, around December the 22nd, and went on through some places December the 25th. And it was the birthday of Horus, or Haru, from which we get the word hero, the son of Osset and Asar, whom they misnomered Isis and Osiris, the birthday of Tammuz, the birthday of Mithra, just about any savior god around the world was born on this day. So they said, these people are not going to let this go, so we're going to have a birthday for ours. They came up with the 6th of January, the 16th of April, several days in April, in August, some days in September, and they finally decided on December the 25th. When did they decide it? 325 years after the fact. When everybody that knew Jesus was gone away from here. Anybody who may have had some birth records didn't have any more. And how did they get people to accept it? Not through Septimus Dominus Meum. Holy God, Holy Jesus, Mary, Mother of God. By the power of the sword. Constantine the Great at the Council of Nicaea in 325. Most everything you believe about Christianity was decided then and there. It was the cross and the sword. They didn't do it by praying. Because the African bishop said, this is not true what you say. Jesus is not one with God. He was a great prophet. They said, you either accept it or we run your behind out of here. So they ran him out. And they established it by the sword there. I think I've dealt with that. I'm not going to deal with Santa Claus now tonight.
All right. So let's get back.
Did you know paying your bills on time?
So let's get back to this, right? Let's get I do got one more video for y'all. I do. I'm gonna play this video for y'all. I think, let's see.
And the word religion are the same thing.
Let me go back.
When you
Let me
believe
go back. Let me go back a little bit.
the word superstition and the word religion are the same thing. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Religion ain't the way. Are y'all grabbing this? Believe in things that you don't understand, and you suffer.
Oh, right. So, I had to end it like that on that in the end. The fact that, a lot of what we understand is based on superstition. Okay. Let me see. Put the sister up. The fact that we living in this age, and it's time for us to reclaim what is rightfully ours. And what does that mean? We're not talking about just our land, but we're talking about everything. We got to take back our religions. I mean, our spirituality. We got to take back our understanding of time. Our understanding of the places of the planets and the energy that is harnessed and the inner peace that we get from doing these things. We got to reclaim that. These are things that we've put aside, we've left it alone, and now the system has replaced it with superficial things. Like the whole time of Christmas, it gives you this false sense of peace on earth. It gives you a false sense of hope. Okay. And the system is not giving you or showing you any type of way to actually achieve peace on earth or anything. What they do is they get you your adrenaline, your energy, your serotonin levels. They get your, what is it? The sensors that deal with addiction. Those things all come into play around this time of year at Christmas time. They project, commercialism. They want you to spend your money. They want you to give them their time. They want you to stay intoxicated. They want you to stay unfocused from the real, true definitions of what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? So let me get y'all real quick with an ad, and I'll be right back.
Power in the melanin, she glows. Unified like Malcolm when we close. Pushing through the struggle, yeah, we chose. Solid as a rock, I love it grows. Speaking wisdom just like Dr. Umar knows. Dripping culture in our stance, it shows. On the front lines where that passion roars. Building empires, Kevin Samuels goals. Sitting at the table, he proposed. Melanated love, in America it flows.
All right. So we're back in the building. We're gonna wind it down. So really what this is, man, I need us, reach out. Y'all can I'm gonna put my number up, but reach out, because this time of the year we need to do some spiritual work. We really need to do the work. Okay. So I'm gonna put the number out. You guys can reach out and we can create maybe like a spiritual connection across the United States and across the globe, where we're all coming together under the winter solstice, under this time of energy, and we can actually, work on some of the goals that we need as a people, as individuals, put these things into motion and how to do it. One of the key is, like we said, to inflect, to go within. So it's really this time of year is for us to be meditating. And normally what I do myself during the solstice is when I start to do my cleansing, and I start to meditate more. I stay out of what we call the mundane. So what does that mean? What am I saying? So like, during the last, when you're getting close to Christmas, the hustle and bustle, it gets more and more. And what I normally do is that time of year, I get out the bit, like I stay out of everything. I'm not going out. I'm not watching TV. I'm not watching anything mundane on YouTube. This time of year is the time for you to get into your spiritual understanding, for you to get knowledge, and for you to focus on your goals. Okay. Burning any white sage? Of course you're burning white sage. We burning white sage. We burning Palo Santo. You understand what I'm saying? Frank and myrrh. You understand? Frank and myrrh that's what they was given. The so-called three wise men were giving frank and myrrh to the sun, right? Offering frank and myrrh. So why are we not burning frank and myrrh during this time of year? We're too worried about putting up Christmas trees, y'all, and then y'all too worried about doing these things for your children or using your children as an excuse, you know what I mean, to really do these things. But and I know children don't understand, but it's really, this is the time, for us to really teach our children, and for us to get cultural, like we have forgotten our culture, we have forgotten our way of life, we've forgotten what the true meaning of this time of year really is about. And we're running around doing other people's religious beliefs this time of year. Okay, we're talking about the reason is for Jesus and this and that, not really understanding what Jesus means, not really understanding the significance of the actual SUN and things of that nature. So it's really time for us to reflect. I hope you guys got an understanding out of this. Please share this video, y'all, and please like the video. All of y'all that's in the building, please share it and like the video. We got to get our algorithms up, and I got a lot of videos y'all can go check out on this page. And I've been doing this for a while, and I really don't ask much of the people, but I do ask that we share this information and that we go back and reflect and look at this information. Okay, because I think it's very important. And I know I've been on here for a minute. If it ain't 30 seconds long, y'all don't want to watch it. So maybe you can go back and cherry pick some things out of the video and share it with some other people, and we can learn some lessons. So with that being said, I'm out of here, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace and love, everybody, and I will catch you on the next video. All right, so peace and love.